Okay, it'll be just a second as everything registers. All right, here we are, and welcome to day 3 action planning session that we hold each day at 7:45. At least I'm testing this time, so if there's a time that works better or differently, by all means let me know. But 7:45, we had the 5:30 mindset mindfulness session. We had a little bit of a window for movement and to be able to prepare ourselves for the day, have some breakfast. I actually discovered this amazing egg white tortilla recipe, which I couldn't be more excited about just because as of late, tortillas didn't used to be part of my life, but I started having these like breakfast burritos. I thought, is there a better way to do this? Sure enough, a little bit of cornstarch, 2.5 tablespoons and 1 cup egg whites, and you're able to make 3, 4, 4, 5, depending on how thick, little tortillas. They just put them in the bottom of the pan and flip. It's amazing. So breakfast, prepare yourself. And then this session is to actually be able to get clarity and to set our minds for the day. So that way we can really see ourselves and what we're able to do and accomplish, and align our actions every day to what it is we say that we want to actually achieve. So that being said, this is a session for revenue generating professionals. I mean, if you're here and you're, in HR or in client services or on any fringe positions within a company, or you're a teacher or anything of the rest of it, and you just need some help with, goal setting, take this time to really be able to mold that to where you're at. But I'm going to be speaking the language of if your action steps produce financial results of some capacity, this session is for you. So that being said, eventually we will have people here in live. I'm confident of it because I'm going to be very consistent showing up every day for this, because everybody needs a little bit of help and a little bit of support getting their mindsets right and straight before work. And if nothing else, this is a time for myself and my team to be able to come together and be able to really align what we're working on in addition to anybody else who needs that support. So it's a win-win across the board. I left my pen. I'll be right back. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, and I forgot a pen. So as you know, this morning session, we filled out the Empower Day Planner, and we were able to identify what goals that we have and what we wanted to achieve for the day. So for now, what we're doing is we have the opportunity to really get in alignment with what we're doing today. And I have established my own goals, which I'm hoping you also are open to considering. So if you're a real estate agent, if you're a broker, if you're in insurance, if you are sales, a call center, you are a closer, this is for you. This time is for you to be able to really align with, okay, what is it that I want to do today? And what I have done for myself is consider, okay, in order for us to be truly, truly successful and to be able to dial in and knock and actually execute on what we say, we need to have daily non-negotiables. So daily non-negotiables are, no matter what happens, you can have a best day kind of circumstance where I have, in the teacher world, right? Everything is based on the metrics of like a rubric or where you're at. So you are excelling, you have meets proficiency, or you're proficient, you are, not quite there. Again, this depends on the model, but the idea is that you're excelling, you've met, you're not quite there, or you need improvement, and you're massively underperforming. So that's also sort of the A, B, C, D, and F. I don't know what ever happened to E, but F kind of a scenario where you can actually score yourself each day. In the Empower Day Planner, we actually have a section where as you develop the habits that you need to accomplish your goals, so a new habit being joining here, right? Getting up each morning. I'm telling you, I have no problem working till midnight, and I find it incredibly difficult to wake up and to shift the life. So if that's something that you also struggle with, well, guess what? You're not alone. That's why we're doing these sessions. So having the hard, okay, it's time, let's do this, really is important, so that you are held accountable to, showing up here, or for my situation, to show up for you, so that we can work on our goals together. So daily non-negotiables. So what this can look like is, this could be, Alex Hormozi has the 100, 100, 100, and I'll say it a lot because I think that there's really something to it. So if you spend 100 minutes on social media outreach, right? If people don't know you exist, they don't know to come to you if they don't know you exist. 100 reach outs. So this could be warm or cold. This could be on LinkedIn. This could be people in your cell phone, right? This could be anybody who you think you may be able to connect with, and that they may or may not know somebody that you could actually also help. Then you have $100 spent in advertising. So wherever you are on your entrepreneurial journey, or where you are at in your career, and what you actually are looking to do, what your job entails. What is going to increase your bottom line, your capacity. So for me, I want us to go ahead and spend a few minutes actually thinking through, okay, the day, getting a sense of what that's going to look like. Right now it's 7:45. We're going to be here till 8 together, 8 o'clock, hard start. Where do you want to go from there? And so at 8 o'clock, you're going to do what? Block it out, right? From 8 to 9:30, your first 90 minutes. How are you going to spend that day? You might have a team meeting. You might have a meeting with your team. You might have a kickoff meeting from 8 to 8:30, or from 8:30 to 9. All of those different realities are true. So ideally, you would have already scheduled today out in your planner, or on your Google Calendar, or wherever, at the beginning of the week. So you were very clear on what you needed to do and time blocked it out. There's something called deep flow. So this idea that when you start working, you can get into flow, you're not interrupted. Those are great states to be. But in order to have that, we have to minimize distractions and disruptions and things that are actually going to prevent you from executing and staying focused. So again, the first 90 minutes, what does that look like for you? It might be broken, it may not be. For me, it's going to be social media, right? That first 100 minutes, I'm going to do 2 hours, or I am doing 2 hours of social media a day, and I have my team helping me with that. Then after that, I'm also going to simultaneously do 20 reach outs on LinkedIn. So if we're not connected yet, let's get connected. I'm going to do 20 follow-ups, which of course I'm going to actually increase this number, but I have a few clients today, which is going to interfere with a hard session. And I'm also still building out the back end of what it is that I'm working on. So Go High Level is what I'm going to be using for my CRM, for my funnels, for pretty much everything related to business, just because for $97, it feels like it could be a good solution for right now. In my experience, in my entrepreneurial journey, I've tried all the different CRMs. I've tried, well, not all of them, many CRMs. I've tried school. I've tried loads of Community, Kajabi, you name it. Not you name it, but I've tried a lot. And I'm just really now looking for something that's simple. It's all connected, it streams, and it works. So I'll be building that today. And then, like I said, I've got a few clients. And then I will be creating one LinkedIn post. LinkedIn is a platform I haven't been very active on in the past, and I intend to, because I feel like it's a really great opportunity to connect with like-minded professionals, or just professionals in general. And it's a concentrated source for that. And I love people who are working on goals, and who want to make more money, and who want to invest in themselves and become, the best version. And so I'm really here, and in my programs, here to help revenue generating professionals optimize their life and their business systems to be able to have more energy and to have more vibrancy and to be able to actually show up as the best version of ourselves daily so that we can, not only be there for ourselves, our clients, our family, our friends, but also be there in such a way that, we are taking the action steps necessary to be able to actually get those levels of results so we can keep moving up the levels as we come, as we learn and we grow and we develop more and more skills. So that is the idea there. I am at 2 live sessions a day. I will be working towards getting to 5 sessions, but I'm starting small. So one thing that happens a lot is when we start new habits, we overcommit to things, which means we under follow through, or we get overwhelmed, or too much happens. So over the next month, I'll be building towards a 5:30 check-in, 7:45, 12:45 just before lunch, 4:45, which is just end of day. Let's do a quick review, and then an evening session to be able to plan, prep, and prime for the following day, so that we're really getting into systems of high performing optimization where we're well planned, well organized, and we're highly focused to be able to achieve the results we desire. So that's coming from me. And those are my personal goals for today. So we've got just a couple minutes left. If you're in this chat and you'd like to share, I do see one person, what your goals are, please do. Please include it. This is a way to build community, people who are doing like-minded things that want to achieve massive results. This is how we can work together and come together to be able to do it. So if you've got a goal you would like to share, I have shared mine. Ideally in the future, this is less about me and more about you, but right now it's just me and one other viewer who I don't know who that is. So I will figure that out because I'm still, and one goal for today is still figure out and do a video on StreamYard, because that's where I'm actually streaming live to the different platforms, because I think that, our people are hidden everywhere, so it's hard to commit to just one platform. So this is my way of doing that. So unless there's anything else or anybody shares anything, I'm going to head and, call this a session, and that's a wrap. Make sure that you are being mindful and focused, and when you start to feel dips of energy, implement some empowered habits. Watch my social media. I'll be putting all of them and plastering all of them there. In the community, we're going to be talking a lot about empowered habits, because when you feel empowered, you feel like you're driving your car of life. When you don't feel empowered, you do not feel like you're driving your car, and it's a disempowered feeling. And that empowerment comes through small, little, tiny action steps that we take daily. That is getting up when we say we're going to get up. That is eating the food we say we're going to eat. That is drinking the amount of water we need to drink. That is getting the amount of sleep. And we don't always do that. I'm telling you, it's 5:30 a.m. got into the sleep. So, but again, habits build over time. You don't want to overwhelm yourself just because you can, because you get this great idea and then suddenly you're going to become bionic man or woman overnight. That's not how it works. In fact, that's a sure guaranteed plan of failure. So small, tiny action steps daily, and it's just one choice at a time. I used the egg tortilla as a perfect example. This last couple of weeks, had a few tortillas, and I thought, man, I really just don't want to be doing that. So I found a solution. It's one choice. It's a small choice, but it allows me to get through at least breakfast, maybe lunch, depending, without doing the high carb or the carb gluten route, when I could just eat primarily clean, whole foods, and that is now then one of them. So with that being said, make great choices. Your life, your journey, your choice. Have a wonderful day and get a lot done. Check in with you later.